Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to work on Fiddle. Fiddle is a little Ruby library that comes with Ruby. It wraps libffi. It lets us grab a shared object file, get a pointer to a function inside of that shared object, and then call it at runtime. What would you use that for? Well, we use it for our REPL. Our REPL, what we do when you run bin Natalie is we give you a little prompt and you can say x equals 1, 2, 3. And every time I type something here, it is parsing and compiling that and creating a shared object file. So here it is. Here's the parsing. Here's the compiling. And then we use Fiddle to open the shared object and grab the function called eval and then call that function. And we pass in this environment every time, so it affects the environment. That's why I was able to type X here and get back the same value. And that's how our REPL works. Unfortunately, I don't know if you're still with me. Unfortunately, this Fiddle library is only in MRI Ruby, Matt's Ruby interpreter. We don't have Fiddle in our Ruby. Natalie does not have a Fiddle. So what that means is our bootstrapped compiler, if I run bin Natalie, let me do it this way so it's a little clearer. So if I compile our compiler to a binary, so it's not running, it's no longer hosted by MRI Ruby. It's a separate binary called nat. It's a 64-bit elf file. And if I run nat version, this is the compiled version of Natalie. It's hosted by Natalie, if that makes sense. The self-hosted version. Unfortunately, we don't have a REPL because well, this is a different bug, but we can't have a REPL because we don't have Fiddle. Whew, okay, I don't know if any of that made sense, but we need our own Fiddle, and we can't use the one provided by Ruby. Well, even if we could, we just don't do that. We write our own stuff. It's just way more fun that way. So what I want to do today is open up libfiddle.rb and just get started. And so let's just map out the sort of API of what we need it to do. This will not be complete. There's a lot of stuff Fiddle does that we don't need. All we need is dlopen. We need a function. We need this void pointer type. And we need to be able to call it. So, yeah. What can you say? So we need a self.dlopen, and that takes a path. And then we also need a class called function. And that will take initialize. We'll take the, I guess this is like a symbol of the function that you want to call. Oh, so we need square brackets on something. So whatever this returns, I'll have to look that up, has a square brackets method. So for now, let's just say something like this. I don't know what class something is, but we'll put it there for now. And then symbol, and then the arg types, and then the return type. And we'll just put these on here. Symbol, arg types, return type equals return type. Okay, and then we also need a call that takes any number of arguments, and then that needs to do something. So I think that's the general structure. Let's say we're going to print what is this lib, and then what is libgc disable. We also disable the garbage collector in the REPL because I haven't figured out how to make that work yet. So that one, and then what is this eval func? Okay. Then Natalie, x equals 1. So we should get some stuff here. So we have a Fiddle handle. That was this one. So that's what dlopen returns. Returns handle. And so we need a class. Oh, that's what this is. Handle. And then the second thing it returns is just an integer. Is that really just an integer? Class. I'll have to start that over again. So x equals 2. Yeah, it's just an integer. Cool, cool. So this returns an integer. Fascinating. And so this accepts that integer. I bet this is probably a void pointer cast to an integer. I'm almost certain that's what that is. And then function, and what is this? Is just a function. Yeah. Okay, I think those are the classes, and that's sort of the general structure of the API that we want. So let's start with dlopen. I don't really remember how dlopen works, so we'll just open up the man page here and look through here. So I guess we need this, and Natalie has this really cool, it's not really a library, it's sort of a macro system. It's a very rudimentary macro system, but I can say inline, and then I can paste some C++ code right here. And interesting. I wonder if I should have been calling dlclose in my REPL. Okay, we won't worry about that right now. So there's some example code. Let's just go straight to the example code and copy that and see what happens. So I need, this whole thing needs to be in C++. So let's do this. Define, I think that's how you do it. Pass for define method. Yeah. So I can do define method like this and call it dlopen. This needs to be in the singleton. It's sort of a static method. And then it takes a path, and this will be some C++ code just in line like that. And the handle dlopen, I guess this is the path. Path assert type env value type string. We'll make sure this is a string. And then we'll do as string cstir, and I guess this could be lazy. I remember reading something about that. Lazy, perform lazy binding, resolve symbols only as the code that references them is executed. Yeah, I mean, that sounds fine. So there's the dlopen. If it's not dlopen, then I think this is where we want to probably raise an exception. And I forget how that works. I don't have autocomplete, so I'll just have to go look it up. So I can pass a string here. We'll say maybe I can get a better error here. If I say fiddle.dlopen nothing.so just does not exist, then this is the sort of error I get. And so we'll need that error. Class dl error. Hopefully this will work. Just say cannot open shared object file, and I'm not going to bother putting all the rest of that because I just want to get something pretty close here. And then do we return the handle? No, we need to return our own handle, which is this one. And the way to do that is get the handle class. Auto handle class this is going to be a little bit hairy, unfortunately. How how am I going to do that? Self const find env. I'm looking for handle. Value const lookup search mode not strict. I think that will search up the class hierarchy until it finds handle right here, and then need to create a new handle object. Handle object. Let's do it like that. Handle object is a new value, and it's value type object and handle class. And then what? We need to store the handle pointer or handle value, whatever this is internally. What does it return? What does it return? It's just a void pointer. Cool. Okay, we have a thing for that. So auto handle pointer is new void. Void. It's been a while. We have a void p value, which is just a wrapper to hold a void pointer in Ruby land without breaking stuff. So if runtime the user happens to inspect or try to call a method on this void pointer, then we have a wrapper around it and things don't blow up. But we can put the handle inside of that, and then handle obj we can set an instance variable on. I don't remember the signature for that. I have our set env and then a symbol and then the value. Okay, env symbol value intern. This is going to be handle. Let's say pointer, and then handle. Oh, the odds of getting all that right are pretty slim. Did I get all the semicolons? Nope. That one and that one and that one. So does that return a handle object? Well, let's just create a little file here to test it. We'll do require fiddle, and we'll say handle is fiddle.dlopen. I need a shared object file. How am I going to get a quick little shared object file? The compiler, this REPL will generate one for me. So what I could do is just don't unlink it and then print temp.path. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go over here, bin Natalie. We're going to say x equals 1, 2, 3. And there's our shared object file. Hopefully it's still there. Shared object, cool. And we'll just keep that. In fact, we'll move that here. We'll say wat.so. Now we've got wat.rb and wat.so. Don't ask me why. I don't know why I call everything wat. Wat.so. And let's print this handle. Do we actually get something back? So we'll call make and bin Natalie wat.rb. Yes. No. Nope. Path as string. Invalid use of member function as string. Did you forget? Oh, well, yeah, I did. I did forget that. As string parens. It's really amazing how much you end up relying on autocomplete. Handle const char const find. I think that was supposed to be a symbol. Symbol value intern. Let's try that. Okay, no matching function call for value brace and close initializer list. Handle class. I'm just going to have to trust that it's a class here. And, okay, getting closer. Invalid conversion from void star to value star. I've our set handle. Oh, this was supposed to be handle pointer. Okay. Okay, undefined reference to dlopen. At link time. Oh, at link time, because you're supposed to link with LDL. Okay, and I think I have a way to do that. LD flags, yes, LD flags. It just takes a string. So if I do this, LD flags, and I say dash LDL. Yeah. Will it work? That's the question. Will it work? DL error is missing. DL error is missing. Raise DL error. Okay. Well, let's separate because I have two problems here. Let's just say printf no worky. I think I have to double escape that and then exit. Let's just see if that's what's happening. No worky. Okay. Is there an error handler or something? Is there a way to get a better error? DL error, DL error. Obtain error diagnostic for functions. Returns a character pointer. Do you have to free this? Null terminated string describing the most recent error that occurred. Okay. The return string does not include a trailing new line. Okay. It returns null of no errors. May reside in a statically allocated buffer. Oh, okay. So I don't think I have to free it. Let's just assume I don't have to free this. So I can say, let's put this. So I still have the problem of this DL error class isn't found. So let's actually work on that. DL error. Why can't you find that? So raise. I guess I could. Could find this. Okay. Auto DL error is, I'm just going to do it basically like this. Const find DL error not strict as class. Okay, so DL error. So now do we get a better error message? Can I open shared object file? Okay, and so it'd be really cool if we could get the actual error here. Auto error is DL error. Actually, could probably just do DL error right here. Will that work? Can I open shared object file? No such. Oh. Well, look at that. I just pass in the whole thing. So I don't need any of that. Okay, cool. DL error. Wow. So cannot open shared object file, no such file or directory. Well. Apparently I need to put the full path here. Home, Tim. Okay, well, hey, the good news about that is we got a much better error out of the deal. Okay, pointer is not allowed as an instance variable name. Oh, well, that's true. It needs to have an @ sign. For an instance variable in Ruby, has to have an @ sign. Okay, hey, look at that. We have a handle. Woot woot. We have a handle. Cool. So now we want to say this is the symbol that we're trying to get, eval, and we'll print the symbol, and we know it returns an integer. So I guess we need to look at dlsym. So you pass in the handle and you pass in a string and you get back the symbol. Cool. Well, that's pretty easy, right? And so here we're going to do the same thing. Define method square brackets. It's going to take a name. It's going to have a big old string of C++. And returns an integer. I'll leave that there for now. So, I guess, oops, dlsym. We do want to assert the type, so we'll just do the same thing here. Oops. Name, assert type is string, and then the handle, auto handle, is self. ivar get env symbol value intern at ptr. So that's the handle void pointer. And then to get the pointer out of, actually, let's do it this way. As void p, void p value. How do you get it? Void putter. This is kind of gross. I have to admit. Handle. So that's the actual handle that dlsym is looking for, this void star. And I guess I'll do handle here, name as string c stir, and auto symbol is that, and we'll return new integer value symbol. I wonder if I need to cast that. Probably. Yeah. Okay, I don't need that anymore. Got my semicolons. Well, we'll see what happens. Oh, we got a number. Cool. Moving right on to the next thing. Let's go look at our REPL. We need something like this. Call this F, and this is H, and fiddle type void P, and let's print the function. Okay. We need type void P is something. Again, I'm only doing enough to get our REPL working. There's going to be other stuff here. And this is probably a good time to talk about what I'm not going to do. I'm not actually going to wrap libffi. I don't know how much to go into this. libffi does a bunch of stuff at runtime to manage calling conventions on the system it's running on. Because the compiler is out of the equation, there is no compiler to set up the function call and getting the return value off the stack or out of the registers or whatever. I mean, I don't even remember how calling conventions really work. I have to look that up every time. But libffi does all that, which is great. We don't actually need that. We can get by with just dlopen, dlsym, because we have a compiler and we are running at compile time. Sort of. Yeah, I don't know how much to get into that, but what I'm going to do is cheat a little bit. I'm going to, let's say private, and then I'm going to have, let's go look at this. Let's go look at REPL RB. There's only a handful of function signatures that we need to support. We need to support one that takes 0 arguments and returns a void star. And the same thing here, 0 arguments returns a void star. 1 argument of a void star returning a void star. Those are the only 2 function signatures that we need to support right now. Down the road, what I'd like to do is add macro support in Natalie, and that will allow our Fiddle library to set up a macro So our fiddle will be way cooler than the Ruby MRI fiddle because it can do it all compile time, and it won't even need libffi. Yeah. Anyway, all that to say, I think what I want to do is cheat a little bit, define method here, and we're going to create two function types, the one I told you about. One that takes no arguments and the one that just takes a void star. So what I want to call it is void p no args. Yep. And then another one, which is void p arg void p. Would be args void p. Yeah, so those are the two functions I want to compile in, and then at runtime it will just select the one that matches. It's going to be a little bit gross, but I think it'll work. I don't think there will be any performance penalty. The only penalty would be size, binary size, because if we needed to support every combination of argument type and return type, these would get really nasty. So I'm just going to put a note here. Currently only supporting the two function signatures that we need for Natalie's REPL. In the future, Natalie will have macros that will allow this to be generated at compile time. Okay, so little explanation there. I think that makes sense. So really, we're just focusing on dlopen and dlsym, and we're making use of taking advantage of the compiler, the C++ compiler GCC, to generate the casting of the void star that's going to be returned. So this void star that gets returned by dlsym, we're going to cast it at compile time to the function signature type that we want to use. Whew, that was a mouthful. Anyway, now I've done all that talking, I don't actually know where to start. I think that we'll start with symbol, because that's it's an integer, but we want to cast it to, let's say function. Do I want to do it like that? Yes. So I want to cast it to a void star with no arguments. I think that's the syntax for that. And then we want to call the function with the args and return it. It's going to look something like that, but there's going to be more code, of course. So here I could say if args size is not equal to arg types.size, then raise argument error. What is the actual error? Def foo x and foo 1 2. Okay, it's going to look like this. Wrong number of arguments given, args size, expected arg types size. Okay. If arg types empty, okay, internal method name is at return type something like that. So I'm trying to generate this method name at runtime. So the return type, which is up here, it's going to be type void p. So this is going to be inserted into the string, and then we can say if argtypes is empty, then internal method name plus equals no args. Else, I'm going to say args underscore argtypes dot map t. Actually, just join with an underscore. And we're going to say if defined internal method name, then send internal method name with the args. Otherwise, raise no method error, no fiddle, no method with name. Yeah, it's kind of not the best error because it's not going to tell them how to fix it, but I think that's okay. So this is the runtime bit that sort of selects the pre-compiled function. And so what is environment right here? What is that? It's a fiddle pointer. Oh, cool. So I guess I need a new pointer. So that's what should get returned. Okay, very good. This and this and this and this and this. Sorry, I've gone kind of quiet here because really struggling to explain my thinking here. I'm not even sure I have it straight. So I'm going to cast that integer into a type that is a function returning a void star, has no arguments. And then I'm going to call the function passing no arguments, store that result temporarily. So this is going to be a void star. And then I'm going to get a reference to that pointer class, create a new pointer object. This is pointer. Pointer, and this is going to be result. This is going to be pointer. Pointer. Kind of weird. And then pointer. Pointer. Is it possible? Is it possible? So let's look at REPL again. GC disable. I should be able to call GC disable. Let's just get rid of that for now. Let's see how far off I am. Let's open WAT again and let's grab this function. So GC disable and call it. And what do I get back? Symbol was not declared. Okay. Oh, right. Symbol is self ivar get env symbol value intern at symbol, which is an integer, as integer to nat int t. Yeah. Okay, that might be better. That might be closer. Cool. I got back a pointer. Really? What's fascinating about that disable, where is that? Actually doesn't return a void pointer. Is this, oh, that's not the right one. gc disable. Yeah, that's what I thought. It doesn't actually return a void pointer. Yee. So the fact that that works is a little freaky. I mean, I guess we're just not using that void star here, that void pointer. But this should actually be type void. Let's just make sure that works. Seems to work. So probably should go ahead and make one of those as well. Yeah, let's do it right. Let's do it right. So void. This is going to be void no args, and it's going to return nothing. Oh, look at that. So it'll return nil, I guess. Turn nil value the. So now I need another one of these. So this is going to be void p no args, because I have that version here. And then let's paste that stuff in there. Auto result equals that. Function. Pointer class, pointer, yada, result. So that's the void star no args one, and then we need another one that is the void p args void p takes p1. All this is going to be the same except this p1 pointer. Auto p1 as void p void pointer. What if it's not a void pointer? What if it's something else? What if it's like a string, a Natalie string? So I need to do this. I'm going to say void star p1 pointer. I think I'm going to say if p1 is already a void pointer object, then p1 pointer is that. Otherwise, it's just cast, I guess. Okay, well, you know what could go wrong? Let's give it a try. I don't know. I don't know if I did it right or not. Nope. Oh, come on. So what if I have this one, and then I have build top env. That was the other one, right? Build top env, yep. Did both of those work? No. Invalid cast from type, value pointer to void star. Oh, right. So I need to do dot value here. Too many arguments to function. Oh, look at that. Void star. It's returning two pointers. Well, let's run our REPL. Ben Natalie, and just see what happens. Uninitialized constant REPL. Why is that? Why is that? I don't have a file utils, so let's comment that out for now. Where is REPL included? RG require REPL. Oh, right there. Uninitialized constant load error. Uninitialized constant load error? REPL RB line 11. Oh. Yeah, we don't have read line in Natalie, so so let's do it this way. We'll say if Ruby in, how did I do it over here? Do that, do this, because we don't even want you to try if you're Natalie. And we're going to say if not defined read line, then we'll define our own. It's weird we don't have a load error. I would expect us to have a load error. Not going to worry about it though. Uninitialized or undefined method gets for class. Line 19. Well. I don't want to implement that right now. Do I? Do I want to work on that right now? Why not? I could do it. Just returns a character pointer, reads the line from center end into the buffer pointed to by S until either terminating new line or file. No check for buffer overrun. What? Never use gets. Because it is impossible to tell without knowing the data in advance how many characters gets will read, and because gets will continue to store characters past the end of the buffer. It's extremely dangerous. It has been used to break computer security. I love that sentence. It has been used to break computer security. Use fgets instead. Okay. Reads reads in at most one less than size characters from stream and stores them into the buffer pointed to by S. Reading stops after an end of file or a new line. If a new line is read, is stored into the okay. So this is probably what Ruby is using internally. And I just need to figure out where that is implemented in Ruby. So method gets, who owns that? The kernel owns it. Okay, kernel module HPP. and we'll just make our own gets here. Value putter gets. Well, yeah, I'll take an ENV, I think. Uh-huh. So we'll say that the character buffer is, I don't know, 2048. And there's the buff pass in there. And the size is 2048. Is it, did they say one less than? One less than size characters from stream stores them into the buffer. Terminating null byte is stored. So yes, one less than the size. Perfect. And then the stream. I don't know if I have that. Stood in. Because I just have the file number for standard in. Okay. Just give me an example. Stood in fgets. Oh, of course. Of course, stood in. Okay. Fgets. And is stood IOH. Really? Int size, file stream. Oh, yeah. Perfect. So now we have gets. Let's see. Cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. Did I get it? Did I get it? Undefined method gets. Oh, I didn't write a binding for it. Binding gen kernel. So right about here, I need a gets no arguments, passes the environment, returns just a value. Oh, I didn't run make. Taking its sweet time. Is it done? No. It is done. Cool. Reline prompt. Oh. I've never actually printed the prompt. So I need to do if what I guess I is input, print prompt. Is that why I didn't see something? X equals 3, 4. I get an error. Okay, let's just see what's going on there. This is progress, though. Run. Visit children. That's a garbage collector problem. So even though we are disabling the garbage collector in the shared object, I wonder if we need to call gc.disable here. I'm just going to try that. That actually worked. So just to ease my own mind, I want to make sure that we are actually running this fiddle, not Ruby's fiddle. Puts calling self. I'll just say inspect with args inspect. Just make me feel better, because that worked more smoothly than I thought it was going to. X equals 3. Yes. It works. That's going to be oh, well. Okay, we got an error there. That's okay. I'll work on that later. This video is long enough. I am so happy though. X was 1. X. Let's get rid of this. Oh, it works. It works. Not super proud of this nonsense, but we have a good path forward. I think that this will be a good motivation for me to get macro support in Natalie, so that we can generate this a little more elegantly. Yeah, a little more elegantly. I think this is fine for now. And it lets our REPL work in self-hosted mode. In Natalie, hosted by Natalie. We have a REPL again. Hello world. Control L doesn't work because I don't have read line. That's okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what's causing that. I'll look into that later. I'm still really happy with what we got here. Let's commit it. wat.rb, so rmnat. Let's just look through what we did here. We added gets. I'll commit that separately. Yeah, I had to get rid of file utils. I'm not going to commit this quite yet. Kernel module gets, yes. Okay. Add kernel gets method. Gets a line of input from stood in. Not gonna do the REPL stuff right now. No REPL stuff. No REPL stuff. So just lib fiddle. Everything else can go away. I'm gonna say start work on our own fiddle library. This is a little gross, but allows us to have our REPL, let's see, but allows us to have a working REPL when hosted, when self-hosted. That is to say, Ben Natalie. When run as. Okay. There someday Natalie will have macro support, so we can generate the function signatures at compile time without having to to write every combination ahead of time of function signature ahead of time. Something like that. Start work on our own fiddle library. This is a little gross, but allows us to have a working REPL when it's self-hosted. Someday Natalie will have macro support so we can generate the function signatures at compile time without having to write every combination of function signature ahead of time like we did here. Cool. All the tests run, and I didn't break our regular REPL, right? So I feel really good about where we ended up there. We got something that resembles Fiddle, and we got our REPL kind of almost working. I'll be working on that some more in future commits, but I do thank you for hanging out. I hope you learned something. I hope you saw something that was fun or interesting. And most of all, I hope that you're inspired to work on a side project of your own, some passion project that makes you happy and get your creative juices flowing. So again, thanks. I hope to see you next time.